Hey,
Yeah?
you know how I know you're gay? You
How?
listen to Disturbed.
You know how I... Hey, John, you know how I know you're gay?
How?
You know lyrics to My Chemical Romance songs.
Hey, you know how I know you're gay? You go
How?
to comic book stores and play Magic.
Hey, John,
Yeah?
you know how I know you're gay?
How?
You freaking reviewed the Minions.
I did. I did review the Minions.
And you should be ashamed.
So, we saw Ant-Man today. This is Christian Chagoitis.
Hello everybody.
Say hi to the people.
My name's Christian. How are you all doing?
Alright, tell them what Ant-Man was kind of about without spoiling the middle to the end of the movie.
Ant-Man was pretty much Marvel's production of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
You're terrible at this, you're terrible at this. Basically, Ant-Man is like you got Paul Rudd, who is the new Ant-Man because Hank Pym is terrible. That's just terrible. We this whole thing up.
We did.
You lost me at Honey, We Shrunk the Kids.
I thought we were doing an intro. I didn't think we were doing an entire...
Hey everybody, we just saw Ant-Man. This is my buddy Chris.
Hello everyone.
Chris Chagotis. Known him for like 5 years. We just saw Ant-Man. He's my Ant-Man buddy. And he's here to talk about Ant-Man.
Can you not call me Ant-Man?
I'm going to call you Ant-Man for this whole video.
Oh, great.
Because he stands at 5'3", very proudly.
5'4".
He's full of shit. 5'3". Chris, tell him what Ant-Man is about.
Okay, so Ant-Man is about Paul Rudd, who just got out of jail, and he has Hank Pym, who's creepily stalking him. He's this millionaire...
Not creepily.
It kinda is, because he said he was watching him ever since he committed that heist. That means he's been watching him while he was in jail.
Alright, well Hank Pym is the original Ant-Man, and we just jumped to Ant-Man number 2, so he's trying to find the next Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Right,
That's essentially the premise.
Okay.
He tries to rob Hank Pym, and the whole thing's an elaborate setup to get him to steal this suit and become the Ant-Man. And so he winds up putting on the suit, and he's like, whoa, suddenly I shrunk myself, and oh my god, everything's huge and enormous. And it really takes a lot out of Honey, I Shrunk Myself and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and those movies.
I didn't see those. I saw the first one.
And it's kind of taking from those movies, trying to show with these special effects just how big the world is, just from a tiny perspective. And it actually does a pretty decent job at it. So eventually, Paul Rudd, when he's finally done with his little romp with
we forgot
Ant-Man
to
suit.
mention that Paul Rudd also has a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pulled straight out of like Spider-Man 3, Swordfish.
And Jingle All the Way too.
Jingle All the Way too.
Yeah.
You watch that movie?
You reviewed it!
But we have seen that concept where it's like, okay, so like we have a criminal trying to go straight, but because he wants his daughter back through custody, he's gonna keep breaking the law.
Exactly.
And also we forgot to mention Kate from Lost.
Kate from Lost? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She plays the sassy daughter from Hank Pym's sassy daughter who
sassy daughter.
Who trains Paul Rudd how to be an Ant-Man.
How to be an Ant-Man.
Because she knows karate.
Yeah. She knows Kung Fu.
She
knows Kung Fu. And she's just...
She knows Ant Fu. And Peter Russo from House of Cards, who's the bald guy who... That guy, okay, so the bad guy is this guy who takes Hank Pym's original idea and tries to manufacture it so it could be like a weapon and...
Like Iron Man.
Like... Yeah, pretty much like Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, he was more cringeworthy than John Connor in Genesis because everything he said was like forced exposition. Every time he was talking to the good guys, he was just like, "This is going to change things, and this is and I
it's gonna be revolutionary."
Yeah, Peter Russo. No, I like him as an actor. He did some okay stuff.
In House of Cards.
Yeah. Okay, so pros. What do we like about the movie first? We'll do pros first and be optimistic. What did you like about the movie?
What I liked about the movie, it actually really comes down to all the effects. They just... The type of perspective they show from...
It would have been good in IMAX 3D.
Yeah,
it probably would have been.
It would have been. But the type of effects they show just from the perspective, showing just how something small can feel like something so big just from a different perspective.
Because you can relate.
Yes, John, we all We've been through this.
Go ahead.
I get it, I'm sure.
You were saying that from the certain... Yeah, go ahead.
But it's very reminiscent of other movies that have done the same kind of style, and you feel like they took a page or two from those and they spun it in their own direction. They pulled it in It's essentially a heist movie that they pulled from a different perspective to give it this whole kind of grander scheme. And it's almost like you took a heist movie and you just gave it a breath of fresh air.
I liked it though because it was like you have this movie that's not supposed to be good. I mean, it's kind of like got the same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And it's not as good as Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's like right there. I think what's really good about it, like I can't wait to see the follow-up movie where they have Paul Rudd and what's the guy's name? Star-Lord.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt just sitting side by side just bullshitting.
Yeah.
Because that could be really funny.
Oh yeah.
But it's almost like when you have a movie that's not so overly like choreographed with producers who are like, okay, this is the Avengers, this is Ultron, it has to be done by the books and we have to market it with toys. When you have a movie that's like by Marvel that's not supposed to be like their best movie, it tends to be a little bit better as far as comedy.
Yeah.
Because Chris Pratt really made Guardians and Paul Rudd really made this movie. This is a lot funnier than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, this was all Paul Rudd.
It really, yeah.
It really was, and he has a lot of funny moments in the movie, and just the entire idea and premise of this movie is so ridiculous that Marvel had to like right away for it to make it work. They really had to pull the few jokes they know they were gonna pull, but they do it in such a way that it does work. It works.
There were scenes throughout the movie that I was like, okay, it's entertaining, but I'm like, when this actually pulls into like Civil War or Infinity War or anything like that, it's like, how is he really gonna match up next to the Hulk or Tony Stark or any of those characters when it's like Ant-Man? Like,
I think that's kind of why they had him beat up Black Falcon, just to give him that perspective.
Don't give too much of it away, but yeah, he does. Black Falcon. Is it Black Falcon?
Yeah, well,
I can never.
I don't know if it's Falcon
or
Black Falcon. The Falcon.
You're just kind of racist.
I always thought it was Black Falcon.
It's just the Falcon. I don't think it's Black Falcon. I don't go. It's like, oh, there's White Falcon and there's Black Falcon. You racist bastard, you. Anyway,
sorry everybody.
The Falcon.
Sorry.
The Falcon. You know, I'm gonna come across really bad if it is Black Falcon. You could be right. I think it's just Falcon. I mean, Black Falcon would sound cool.
Listen, let's just call it Falcon.
Okay, we're gonna call it Falcon. He does have a cameo where they kind of like tussle a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. I mean, it's good to see that they're not like completely, you know,
outcasting
ignoring the Avengers storyline. Because there is an Avengers storyline that's commonly just like ignored. Like they did like in the last couple movies.
Yeah.
Like the Thor sequel was like pretty bad.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, they make a point to say that this is the present day, and even Paul Rudd asks, like, why aren't you getting the Avengers?
Right, because one of the scenes in the movie actually does, and I don't think I'm spoiling it, but there was a scene where it's like they actually do go to the complex where the Avenger complex is, and it's like a brief, like maybe like 10-minute scene.
Yeah,
but it's pretty cool. It's like, okay, we're in the same universe, we're doing the same kind of stuff, and maybe it'll come hand in hand at some point.
Well, I think they did it just to show in perspective that, hey, Ant-Man can match the Avengers, even though this is a ridiculous premise that, you know, nobody was really excited for. They put it in a way so that, okay, when he finally does team up with the Avengers, now he seems to have a little bit of credibility to him.
Well, what I liked about it is that
completely sidelines Falcon, though.
What I liked about the Ant-Man movie is that, like, it wasn't... The trailer is garbage.
Yeah.
The trailer is absolutely... I don't know if you saw the trailer at all, but they've been coming out for, like, a couple months now, and it doesn't look good. It looks... You're like... But then again, at the same time, it's like, well, we did have Guardians of the Galaxy, and nobody believed in that, and that was pretty much like the only credit you had for this movie was like, listen, maybe they're not showing everything in the trailer, and that's pretty much what I think they did here, is like, there was a lot that was not in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a movie that was like, okay, we saw it in the trailer, and now we're watching the movie, and then now here we go.
Yeah, I can
So, there's a lot of funny jokes from Paul Rudd that I mean, as funny as it can be in a Marvel PG-13 movie.
Yeah,
but he's pretty good. Most Marvel movies are always like, the galaxy is in danger, the world is in danger. This is like a much smaller scale of a mission as far as the movie goes. It's like, okay, we need to do this because bad things will happen if we don't, but not like, you know, Ultron's not going to drop a meteor into the planet and kill everybody. What did we not like about Ant-Man? Or what did you not like about Ant-Man? And then I'll go next.
What did I... like I said before, it's kind of just hitting the cliche of every heist movie, and just.
But it is Marvel, so to give it some credit, it's not Avengers again.
No, it's not, and it's not fair to compare it to Avengers at all. It's a very different type of movie, and it's actually a very different type of movie that Marvel has ever attempted before. And in that same strain, while you get a lot of pros out of it, you also get a lot of cons that drag that down.
Well, what did you not like? I didn't feel like it was too Ocean 11-y. Like we did have like one scene where it's kind of like, all right, or like they're planning like a heist and they're doing that, and
the scenes when he's fighting like on the train tracks and it's in the trailer. And they're kind of just showing like,
hey, don't pick on Thomas the train, because that was the funniest part of that movie.
It really was.
That was the funniest part, and you'll, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was the funniest part of that movie.
It really was the funniest part of that movie. But I'm talking about the scene in the trailer where things are just kind of flying everywhere, and it's just like, oh, that seems so big from, a tiny perspective, but at a bigger perspective, it's really stupid. And those scenes kind of really stand out because they really don't. It's really just trailer footage. But it stands out as trailer footage because they really don't hit notes like that.
Speaking of the trailer, the scenes that were actually in the trailer that were kind of side-worthy actually didn't make it into the movie.
Yeah.
Like the scene where he kept like the jokes about the name of the Ant-Man, that was never in the movie.
Yeah.
Like the scene where he said, "Is it too late to change a name?" Or the other scene where I think he's talking to Falcon and they cut it from the movie where he's like, "Yeah, I didn't like the name either."
Yeah.
Never made it into the movie.
And good.
And I kind of had the fear that like the movie was gonna be kind of drab and boring, and then like those two jokes would pop up and I'd be like, trailer. Like, what's your favorite Marvel movie out of all the ones? Not like anything from Iron Man on in the MCU.
Easily Guardians of the Galaxy.
See, that's mine too, but it's just, how do you not love that movie?
It's hard not to,
right?
And it's hard to top that. It's hard to take that transition from, well, we reached such a great height with Guardians. How do we go from there? We reached such great heights with Avengers and Age of Ultron, and where do we go from here as far as introducing superheroes go? And it's a little cheesy, a little campy, and very cliche here and there, but they managed to put something.
See, that would be my con from the movie, was like doing the whole backstory about how, he's an ex-con, and he's trying to get his life together, and he has a daughter, and if he does this one job, he can maybe get custody, or maybe do things right. And it's like, we've seen that. Yeah, he's Sandman.
He's Sandman.
He's Hugh Jackman in Swordfish. Like, we've seen it, and it's like, okay, you didn't have to do it. He could have just been a con guy. I mean, unless it's in the comics.
I don't know all that much about the second Ant-Man.
It could be, but basically, like, he could have just been a con man who was like, yeah, this is really cool. I'm tiny, I'm an ant. Like, why wouldn't I not want to be an Ant-Man?
Yeah.
All right, what would you, if you had to give it a letter?
If I had to give it a letter, I would say just a solid B+, just because they take a concept that nobody was excited for, that nobody had any energy.
There was a lot of hate on this movie.
Yeah, there was.
And I could see why. I mean, like, it's like, he's an ant.
It's a ridiculous concept.
He's an ant. I mean, I don't think they really go in. I mean, they say it in the trailer, but it's like the one thing is that as he gets smaller, he gets more stronger and powerful and can jump.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, he's an ant.
An ant.
When you see the trailer and he's like, run in with the ants, you're like,
yeah.
So what?
Yeah. It's very underwhelming, and they somehow managed to make it work. They put a lot of energy behind the movie, and they put a lot of thought into how they were going to make it.
I think if I had to like sum it up in a nutshell, how to summarize what I thought about the movie, is like, it works, it's very cliched, and it is like, okay, we have a step-by-step with the script, but if you don't have Paul Rudd, it falls flat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because it is like a Marvel like manuscript of like A to B to C.
Yeah.
And they did stick to the comics, I believe. So it's like, okay, so that's why.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you didn't have Paul Rudd, who I guarantee you was improvising at least half of the jokes and everything else, it would have really fell flat. So I'm gonna give, would you say B+?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a B. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull your plus away, because...
Thanks.
I mean, I like Paul Rudd, but I mean, I don't like him that much.
I just...
Well, you know why, not Age of Ultron, which I did like.
Yeah.
But like, why Guardians of the Galaxy is so much better is because you like all the characters.
Yeah.
You like Rocket Raccoon and Groot and everybody.
Yeah.
This one's like you really like Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
And the other characters kind of like one dimensional.
Yeah. Especially the villain. His name is Dr. Cross. If you couldn't, yeah, that's actually his name. His name is Mr. Cross, and if you couldn't get any less subtle about it. This has been Burns Reviews, and thank you very much for watching. Please comment below and subscribe. Thank you very much.
Because you just been chigoidist. Good.
This has been our review of Ant-Man. Thank you for watching, because you just got burned.
So how'd the suit look?
Alright, well, the suit actually looked pretty cool. It was kind of like the Yellow Jacket suit, only if it were made for a woman and had like it was
like boobs.
Yes, it had boobs.
Okay.
It had boobs, and it was just it was black and yellow, and it had like wasp wings on the back, and it was actually a pretty decent looking suit. And then the camera just focuses on her, and she just looks at the camera and goes, "Well,
suit me up, Uncle Alfred." Because that's what she should have said, right?
It's kind of better than what she actually said.
What did she actually say?
She actually just said, "It's about damn time," in the sassiest way you could possibly say it.
I know that Kate from Lost. She's a sassy one. Gonna miss her in The Hobbit.
You're gonna miss The Hobbit?
No. And then the second one? What was the post-credit? Like the post-credit?
The post-credit scene was Winter Soldier, and he's like handcuffed to some kind of machine.
Oh yeah, his hand's like in like a wheel, like a what would you call it? His glove is like stuck and he can't move his hand.
Yeah, he's like stuck to some kind of giant magnet.
Right.
And it's Captain America, and him and Falcon are talking.
Who happens to be black. I don't think his name is Black Falcon.
I don't think it is either. Sorry.
Sorry, YouTube.
Sorry. My apologies, YouTube. But yeah, so Captain Falcon are talking. Captain Falcon.
Get to the point.
Captain Falcon are talking, and they're like, "Well, if we told this to Tony, he would never believe it. Well, maybe we don't need to tell it to Tony." And I know a guy.
I know a guy. Yeah,
I know a guy.
Whatever that means. Yeah. I actually heard about that, and they said that it's actually a scene they cut right from Cap 3, Civil War, and they're like, "Oh, that's the tag. We're gonna put that into the." And it doesn't really flow. It doesn't really fit. It's like, well, tag him into what?
I guess they're trying to tag Ant-Man into Civil War, but it doesn't. The scene just doesn't really stand well on its own.
Or I mean, what was the end scene where I think this was like the end scene where like they do the whole thing with Falcon, and then they end it by saying like, "So what did he say?" Like Paul Rudd is like, "Well, what did Falcon say?" And he was just like, "Yes." And then credits.
Roll credits.
Yes, what? Yes, come to the Avengers? Yes, he has a job for you? Yes. Like, what is... Did you get anything from that?
I imagine it's his tagline, "Into the Avengers," and that's about it. But then you got...
I kind of wonder if yes is what he said in the beginning of the movie, and it was like a juxtaposition, and they were trying to tie it together, but I don't really remember, so...
to be honest, it was really hard to follow.
You're just like... Yes.
Yes. Si, senor.
Yeah, because he's... Yeah. You're just on a roll. You're just like... Black people!
Hey, that was...
Spanish people!
Hey, I can say that. I can say it. You can't.
Oh, gosh. Please don't unsubscribe to Burns Reviews. He will not be back next week. We will have Ray Girona on next week. Won't we, Ray?
Talking about the Minions.
Say goodbye, Chris.
Talking about the Minions.
Say goodbye, Chris.
All right. Goodbye, YouTube.